Doing a sound check. Everyone can hear me. Waiting for my screen to show up. Okay, I think the video is showing now. So, welcome everyone. So this is episode 12 of CiviCRM.Tea. And in this session we're going to talk about CiviCRM's membership component. Daniel is just saying she can hear the water tank but can't see me, but there's a bit of a delay, so things will catch up. So like I said, we're going to do membership today, and just an introduction. So we're going to try and keep it simple, not so technical. So if you're new to CiviCRM and you're not sure about some of the components or what's possible and what isn't, then hopefully this will be a bit useful for you to get an overview of what CiviCRM membership can do for you. Once again, apologies for the slightly messy background. You'll see let's just get out of the way. Which way am I going? No way. See my dog there. It is his first birthday today, so I'm blaming him for the rubbish. And today, well, the other sad news of this month is the passing of the Mr. Tesla, who invented copy and paste, or should I say came up with the idea about copy and paste. So thanks to that, Daniela, we were having a bit of a joke today about how difficult it would be to carry out simple tasks if things like copy and paste didn't exist. So when we viewed it, actually, unfortunately, the person that invented it has passed away this month. So apparently he was quite an advocate for counter I can't remember what it's called now, but counterculture, that's it. So he felt that that computers should be available to everyone, and that you should be able to use the interfaces, and it's actually quite a well-renowned scientist. So I think, it's fitting. CiviCRM is the same. We feel open source systems feel that you should be able to access that software from anywhere, without budget, without any kind of barriers to entry. So that's what open source is all about. It's for the people, made by the people. So it's quite fitting, really. But so let's get on with it. So like I say, I'm going to go into Daniel's saying it's getting sad, so we're trying to make it not sad, obviously. So let's get into it anyway. So I'm going to use my environments that I normally use. Just get to that window. Where is it? Okay, there you go. I'm on it now. So again, I'm doing this in WordPress. I'm not wedded to either, but I'm doing this in WordPress just because that's what I've got, and we upgraded it last week and stuff. So last time we did CiviCRM.Tea, so it's an environment that's already up. So before we get too far into it, we can have a look at the just make this a bit bigger. We can have a look at the CiviCRM docs on it. So what is Civi Member? So see, that's member is a component that provides functionality, support, and automate membership management of memberships. Now, it's important to define what a membership can translate into. Sometimes you would feel like, well, that's for membership organisations, people who can join an organisation and therefore get some benefits, and they need to renew and things like that. So yes, in theory, that's what it's designed for, but there's many applications of it. For instance, subscription of any form, so to publications, to regular giving, to any form of engagement like that can be classed as a membership, or you could use the Civi member component for it doesn't have to be purely used for memberships per se. So it obviously CiviCRM has word replacement. So if you wanted to replace all occurrences of membership with subscription, then you could do, and you'd have a component called Civi subscription, and you'd have all the features of Civi membership, but just relabeled. So don't think of it as membership. I mean, this is especially pertinent to now on this period during COVID. Obviously, it's for us in the UK, it's almost been a year now, and a lot of charity stroke organisations have seen their ad hoc income really take a hit. So that's income that you might fundraise for, or it may be seasonal, etc., etc. And one of the outcomes of this epidemic or pandemic has been that a lot of organisations are looking at changing their model so that they have a more regular stream of income. So the Civi member module and component can help you do that, can help you implement such a strategy. There are alternatives, so you could do it just using recurring giving and regular donations, but it's harder to manage and track, and it's harder to upsell. That way it's harder to know the different components and the searches around who's paying what amounts and what different types have you got, monthlies or annuals, and it's all a lot more complicated if you go down a level into the recurring. So you could use Civi Member to kind of do that and to promote a subscription model, which should result in a much flatter income stream, or at least a guaranteed income stream that you can predict. And then you could obviously carry on with your fundraising and restricted fundraising campaigns, etc. Could carry on like normal. So it's quite powerful, and especially now it's quite relevant. Even if you're not a membership organisation and you're looking to grow regular giving, it can help you do a lot of that stuff. So in this session, we're not going to go into it too deep. I'm trying to make the sessions a little bit shorter and a little bit more of an overview in areas, and then wait for people to feedback on what they want to see specifics on. So as usual, you can go to ideas.CiviCRM.TV and request sessions around specific areas that you are interested in, or got questions about, and we'll happily talk about them. And as I say, these are my views from running Veda Consulting. They're not necessarily the view of the community, although hopefully I'm kind of balancing how everyone feels about it. The communities can be quite technically led, so we're trying to translate some of that into end user speak, if you like. So I've already got membership up here, but if you didn't have membership visible in your menu, the first thing to check is to just go to your system settings and your components, and just make sure you've got Civi member enabled, and then you should see the membership menu, and you should also see the admin menu for membership. So the way membership works in Civi, or the way the membership component works, is that you create different types of membership. So what are the different levels, different packages that you offer for people to subscribe to, and you create them. So I thought there was some test data here, but there isn't. So let's create this. So I'm going to call this a standard. I'm just going to call it standard, right? So okay, so I've only got one organisation in my implementation. Like I say, I thought I had some data in here, but I don't. And the reason you set this up is that it gives you the flexibility that if you are running multiple arms of a business from the one CiviCRM implementation, then you could set up membership, which is kind of attributed to different sub organizations or different branches or different branch is probably not the right example, but different components of the business. So I might have a membership which is all around donations and etc., and I might want that to go to a specific part of my business, and then I might be offering consultancy services or other things that it's a slightly different subscription model, and I get benefits in reduced rates, etc., etc. So most of the not-for-profits we work with just have a single membership organisation. So I would create one normally, but I'm picking the default organisation that I've already got set up for me. What's the minimum fee for this? So it's $100. What's the financial type? So obviously in accounting terms, how do I want to record that income? Where do I want to put it? So we're going to say membership dues. Now, why is this important? Well, so if you're in the UK and you've got things like gift aid, it's important because sometimes some memberships might be classed as giving you a benefit. I mean, most of the time that's the way it is. So they can't be gift aided, right? So you can't claim a tax rebate on that $100 because you got a benefit for giving that money. So therefore, it's not classed as a donation, and therefore you can't get a tax stroke gift aid rebate on it, or the charity can't claim one, right? But other membership types might allow for that, right? So for instance, I might say, well, this membership is actually a donation. You don't actually get a benefit. You're just a patron, or you're just a regular donor, or you're you're an artificial membership. What you're actually doing is donating to my organisation. Now, obviously, you need to get your tax sign off, obviously, before you make those sort of decisions. But in Civi, the key thing is that I can decide how that income should be attributed, and what therefore I'm going to do off the back of it. And that will obviously impact how the accounting integration works if you're doing accounting integration of how that nominal codes, etc., are set for that, and how it's accounted for. And at the same time, I could do restricted giving that way. So I might have a Save the Clubhouse membership, and I would be creating a new financial type for that and sticking everything against a particular nominal and particular campaign that I'm running. Right, so there's quite a lot of flexibility there in terms of getting what you want done. I'm going to make this I'm going to do something controversial. I'm going to make it a monthly membership. And this whole thing about what type of plan is it rolling means that from the day of joining, I'm going to get 1 month's membership, right? So Civi is not going to interfere with that. So it's not going to say, I'm going to change the dates, or I'm going to alter this in any way whatsoever. It's literally going to just allow you to join. If I made that a year, it will be from the date, a year from the date of joining. My end date will be set to that, right? So it's quite straightforward. So I'll just keep it as monthly. And actually, no, I won't, because then the other one doesn't make any sense. So the other option is to make it fixed, right? So some of the not-for-profits we work with have a membership that runs from January to December. So in that situation, if somebody joins mid-year, then I might want them to, I want them to get a membership end date that's correct, and I want the start date to be correct. So this isn't the end date, actually, this is the rollover date. So what we're saying here is if someone joins in December, or joins on or after December the 31st, then I want them to get into next year's membership. So if you've got that kind of January to December membership, sometimes if you get a joiner in December, any point in December, you actually want them to get membership for the next year, right? So sometimes not-for-profits feel like, well, no, people are going to get away with a bit of membership for free there. That's true, but eventually they're going to be paying the same as everyone. Next year they'll be paying the same. So in effect, they've got maybe a couple of weeks of membership as an added benefit, but it's a better experience for them than saying, well, you're going to pay for 1 month of membership, and then in 4 weeks time or 3 weeks time, I'm going to, probably less actually, because I'm normally going to do it a couple of weeks before, I'm going to ask you for a full amount again. So that's not a very good journey, especially for the customer. Whereas just saying, if you're joining any time after the 1st of December, you're going to get a year's worth of membership. Or if I want to be, a bit more stringent about it, I'll say anything after the 10th of December, you're going to get a whole year's worth of membership for the next year, and that's what I'm going to charge you for. That could be a better journey actually, and you're less likely to get dropouts at renewal. because it's such a short joining period. So anyway, both options are available. I'll go back to rolling and just make it monthly again. So relationship type. So this is important. So in the Civi world, a member can be an individual, or a member can be an organization, right? So either of those might have dependents. So for instance, we do some work with some animal parks, some zoos, and they have a family membership, and that family membership entitles certain dependents to come as well as the membership owner. So if I set this up right, I could say, well, anybody who is the child of, I mean, this, like I say, it's not doesn't necessarily need to be child of, it could be dependent of. Anybody who has that relationship will then also be inherit the membership from the master contact. So if I join, and let's say Bumsy, my dog, is my dependent, and I've got him in the CRM, then he will also, the CiviCRM will also show him as being a member. The difference between us will be that I will be the one paying, and I will show as the primary member, whereas he will just show as an inherited membership, and you'll be able to see who the primary member is from that. So I'll just leave this because it's quite handy, and we can show it as part of the overview. The max related. So right, okay, so it's a family membership, but how many child contacts am I allowing to inherit? So I'll say 2. So I'm just going to turn my sound off. There you go. So yeah, so I'm allowing 2 dependents on this membership. So Anymore and Civi won't inherit the membership to them. So you will see that. I'll try and set a couple up. It's a public, so I'm not. I'm allowing it to go out on public pages and profile pages and contribution pages. I do have an extra layer there where I can stop. I can pick which pages it shows up on and which it doesn't. But it is public. At the same time, I can make it admin only. So, for instance, you might have honorary memberships and patronships and stuff like that, which you control and don't allow people to subscribe to online. So I could make them admin only. Graham's asking a question on the chat. I was sunny Edinburgh. It's sunny in London as well, Graham. Run 100 type club. I'm not sure what you mean, Graham, so you might want to put some more detail in, and I'll try and answer it as we're going through this. What is a 100 type club? Like, what defines it? But yeah, if you could put a bit more detail in the chat, I'll try and answer. Right, so max relate 2, I'm going to make it public. It's the first one, and it's enabled. Right, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Let's save that. The renewal reminders and things like this we'll come on to. But yeah, so I've got my membership there now, and let's go ahead and let's do a contact. Who we got? Smith. Have we got any Smiths? No, I don't know who I've got in this database. Let's just do a search. Oh, it's just a good database I've got set up, isn't it? It's only me in it. Right, so I am going to. So before I do this, let me create a related member. So and I'm gonna create a new individual. So I'm gonna record my dog in there. So now I've got a relationship. I'm the parent of my dog. Now let's go ahead and add the membership to me. So there's only one standard membership. Max relates to and it's $100 a month. That's Americanisms for you. I'll say cash, right? We'll come on to the other stuff later. Should I send a confirmation receipt? Doesn't matter at this point. So the key thing here is, do I want to record this as a different person? So sometimes you can have payments coming from as a gift membership, stuff like that. So we, again, like going back to the animal parks that we work with, often you can buy a coupon and share it with someone. So the payment, they didn't actually pay, the payment came from somewhere else. So then so I don't pay, somebody else paid, whether it's through a voucher or whether it was cash or however they did it, it wasn't me. So Civi gives you the ability to record payments from other people, so gifts or donations on behalf of, or all kinds of stuff you can do there, so that you've got a proper record of where those funds actually came from. So just save that. Okay, so there's my membership now. I've got my note inherited. I think you know what, I think I know what I did there. I think I put my relationship back to front on the membership, so let's just, I'm going to create another relationship and a child of. I know this makes no sense whatsoever, but I'm just trying to show the let's delete this. Right, yeah. So I did it wrong. I'll explain what I did wrong in a minute, but let's just have a look at this. So I can see that I've got the membership when it started. So it started today. It's going to last for a month. It's great. So I gave $100 donation as part of that, and who's the related? So who got a membership as a result of that? And it was my dog. So why didn't that work the first time round, or why didn't it work when I said that I was the parent? So here I've got I am the child of, which is the wrong way around. So the reason that was that way is because when I set up the membership type, I should have put parent of here. So anybody that I am the parent of will get membership as a result of that. So that's why it was a little bit back to front. Just refresh that. So right, so there you can see all of that stuff, and there's the membership. In a nutshell, that's all there really is to it. Just to get you up and running. That's all you need to know about. There is a lot more to it. So there's the stuff. Let's just go through the menu. So there's status rules. So whilst we're just looking at that, I'm just reading Graham's question. So this is where people subscribe on a monthly basis. Part is handed back as a monthly draw. It is used by sport clubs and other organisations. Yeah, Graham, I don't see any reason why not. How you calculate and how you do that, you would probably use the financial account codes to control how you decide what to do with that money. But there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't use it to record all the memberships and the payments that related to those memberships. And then you could work out how much of it goes back and at what point does it go back. So if you're doing it on a yearly basis from January to December, then probably at December I might sum up all the income I've had from those memberships, and then I've got my list of members, and I've got the total funds that I got, and I could decide what to do. So so I don't see any reason why not. I don't see any reason why you couldn't run it that way. All of the tools are there to do it. So just coming back to this, so the status rules. So when you set up a membership, you often want to know a few things about it. So let's just go back, and this will make it a bit clearer. So when you're looking at a membership, you have a few attributes. So you have the member since. So this is in effect the join date. When did they first become a part of your subscription program? So this might be, for instance, if I've been a member for a long time, this could be 2010 as an example. So it might be that's my join date. So I actually came to know of this organisation in 2010, and I've been a member since, and I've been renewing. So I'm not sure if this is still the case, but Civi, when you used to renew, it would move the start date and end date into the current year. So next month, this is February to March, next month it will be March to April, and da-da-da. I don't know if it still does that. We often alter it so that it moves the end date but leaves the start date alone, because that gives us a far more accurate representation of were there any gaps in this membership. So were they a member, was he a member since 2010, then had a gap of a year or two and then rejoined? You could see that by having multiple memberships, some that elapsed and then one that's current. So that will give you an idea of those kind of time spans. But it's still then difficult to know exactly what happened during that period. You don't really see it. So often we'll alter it so that it's showing the start and end date for the entire membership period. So they've been a member for 4 years or 5 years. This will represent those 4 or 5 years that they have been a member, and we might carry the join date forward if there are multiple memberships. And all of that's important, because if I want to see, for example, we're talking to one of our not-for-profits at the moment, and they said for anybody who's been a member for more than X number of years, we want to give them an honorary membership, so we don't want them to pay any more, as a kind of thank you and an acknowledgement of the contribution towards the organisation. So I really need to know then, when did they first join? Because that's really what I'm after, in order to make sure that I'm taking into account everyone that I think should go on to this free honorary membership. So, you know, in the initial terms, it might not seem so important, but it's important you record it and you're aware of it, so that you can use that data going forward in the future, and you can make good decisions from it. So I have that start date and end date. Now, normally what happens is the end date starts approaching and you want to do things. So in the UK, we obviously have direct debit, and you know, everyone's aim is to get your customer onto direct debit so that they renew automatically. You don't have to do anything. But you still need to send them a renewal. There might be a change of rate. There might be a thank you before they renew. There might be all sorts of things as a business kind of process that you want to do that are dependent on that end date. So these dates are important. So I deliberately set this up as a monthly, because there's this whole question and, you know, area of the system about how do I know if this is a monthly member? When is their renewal date? How do I know that? And how can I communicate with them at that point in time? So I joined for a year, but I'm paying monthly. In month 12, in month 11, I want to tell them that their membership's due for renewal. How do I do it, etc., etc. Now, if anyone's interested in that kind of thing, shout us out on ideas.CiviCRM.Tea and we'll do a session on it. It's quite an involved subject, and there's a lot of different options and possibilities, so it's too much to fit into this. So I'm trying to give you an overview. So as far as Civi is concerned, this person is just going to renew on a monthly basis, as long as they're paying their cash. So I would literally, if it was a cash one, as soon as the cash came in or I saw it into the account, I would renew them. I could record that, yeah, everything's fine, they paid, renew it. And I could set that up to automatically email them as well, etc., etc. So now the end date's moved to April. Oh, so it has changed then. So okay, so Civi does look like it's no longer moving the start date forward, which is good. So as we renew more and more, then that end date will just keep moving and moving, and then the start date will stay the same. But I can see that, you know, there's been some interaction with this person since 2010. So that gives me some insight into the data. Okay, so like I say, what I've got here is I'm now current. When I don't know if you guys would have noticed, but at the beginning I would have been set to new. So often when you're using memberships, you might want to onboard people, right? So let's say I join, for argument's sake, a bowling club, and in the first 3 months, it's my opportunity as the bowling club to engage that member, to say, well, look, here's all the new things we've got going on, and here's all the clubs you could join, and there's a Wednesday practice and there's a Friday league and whatever, right? So the first few months, is really my time to onboard you, to get you to buy into all my services and make you aware of, you know, your contribution. And if I'm a fundraising charity, it's my chance to try and engage you in more activity within the organisation, etc., etc. So those statuses, I've come to the wrong place. Those statuses are actually quite important, because then I can say, right, give me everybody who's still new, and I want to send them their onboarding, you know, second, third, fourth email, whatever it is. So here I can decide how long do they stay new for, what do I classify as a new member. So we're saying anyone who's member since is within the last 3 months. So anybody who joined within the last 3 months, they're the people I'm classing as new. So my contact record, my membership record was new, but then I moved the member since date back to 2010. So then I became current, right, which is the next status down. So these just work in a linear fashion, just straight down. So I will go from new to current, and I will stay at current until my end date is reached. So from the start, and if the current date is between the start date and the end date of the membership, then I'm current. If the end date has passed, right, and the end date is within a month of today's date, then I'm in grace. So grace is basically saying, a lot of organizations, you don't just stop being a member because you're late on a payment. There can be a number of reasons why you're late. So often you'll be in this kind of limbo stroke grace state where you're still classed as a member, you're still getting membership benefits, but you're behind in your payments. So this is saying I'm allowing that for 1 month, and with all of these I've got the ability to change it. So I might call that, for instance, I could say, right, that's my limbo state, and I'm allowing it for 2 months, right? So here I'm also, just going back, I did that a bit quick. So here I'm also saying it's an end date thing, and so I'm saying the start and end of this event is the end date, but the start of it is the actual end date, and the end of it is the end date plus 2 months. So that's a little bit confusing. But what we're basically saying is this happens, this period, this status kicks in when we reach the end date, and this status no longer is active when I go past 2 months after my end date. So to translate it, I'm allowing this limbo state for 2 months after their end date surpasses. Now, if I pay a day after my end date surpasses, I will come out of limbo state. I'll go back into current. But if I pay 2 months, if I pay 6 weeks after, I'll still be in limbo state because I'm still 2 weeks behind. So I'll constantly be behind. But that's why probably a month's better. But we do have some not-for-profits where people paying by invoice, and that can take a longer period of time. So we have even some that are 6 months of grace because it's kind of corporate membership, and you're allowing for that. So is it a current membership state? Yep. So anybody who's in limbo, I'm still classing them as a current member. They still get membership benefits. So if they're park members, if they come to the park, they will still get entry for free. They'll still be classed as a member, etc., etc. So I can control all of that. Hang on a second. Daniela is messaging. Yeah, she's saying I'm making it sound complicated because it is complicated. No, it is simple. It's not hard, it's not complicated, but I'm just trying to demonstrate what's possible. So that's that. So I'm going to limbo, save that. So from limbo, the next status is expired. So we can see we've got a crossover of states now because the end date plus 2 months, and then from the end date plus 1 month, I'm going to expired. So I can see me changing that. I'm actually going to cause a problem because the system won't know what to do with me if I'm into the expired period but I'm still in limbo. So really I want to move that. I want to say, right, from the end date plus 2 months you're expired. So if within 2 months you haven't caught up, then I'm going to expire you, no longer a member at that point. Yeah, so we can see that again when we look down here, the current membership is not ticked. Right, so I'm going to get, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to be classed as a non-member. So if I was getting discounts on an event, booking form, etc., etc., I wouldn't get any of that stuff anymore automatically. And that's one of the beauties of using this kind of system, is that if you do offer discounts and benefits, it's all tied into their online accounts. So any change you make automatically filters out to all of their online interactions, and they lose discounts, they lose whatever else you needed. So it's quite powerful. Sorry, one sec. So yeah, what are the ones we got cancelled? So pending is if they've paid. Oh, sorry, they've indicated they're going to pay. So they might have done pay later. They might have done not failed, but they might have done a check payment, or they might have done. Sometimes we have direct debits where organisations insist they're pending until the first payment is actually collected. There's various situations, but I'm not an actual member. I might have been invited to join, and there might be some background checks going on that I meet the criteria, whatever. So the pending state can stay is an overridden state, so it's not automatic. So I can't change it, but I can stick someone in that status using an override. And they're not in this state classed as a member. We got cancelled, obviously, that if somebody tells you they no longer want to be a member, then that's the status I'd set them to. So what's the difference between expired and cancelled? So an expired person lapsed out of the system. They didn't tell you they didn't want to no longer be a member. They just stopped paying, in effect, and then they therefore dropped out. So in effect, you've not reached them. I'd try not to be harsh, but you've not got your message across to them. You've lost them, right? Whereas a cancelled person has told you they no longer. So you've tried, and they've told you explicitly, I don't want to be a member anymore. Right? So these are kind of membership. That's an automated one. That's an override, right? I'm telling the system that cancelled, don't bother them again. And then obviously you've got deceased, which is up to you whether you use or not use, and you can add more. So there might be additional statuses. So for instance, we have a couple of clients who people cancel. They're a yearly member, but they can tell you during renewal, the first renewal reminder, I don't want to renew, so I'm not going to renew. So the last thing you want to do is send them more and more renewal reminders, because they've already told you they don't want to renew. So sometimes we'll have extra statuses like a current until renewal. So when you're looking at that member, and the system knows from its configuration that person is not going to renew, and we shouldn't approach them asking them to renew. If they want to renew, we shouldn't send them any automated emails, things like that, because they've already told us. So you can add more statuses. You can change the order of these statuses and how they function. I think there's a few Stack Exchange things where I could see these didn't look right. We've got a couple of clients that we've inherited from other suppliers where they just don't look right. It's almost like someone's had a bit of an experiment, or they don't really know how they work, and they've just moved them around, and you kind of got overlapping dates and statuses that mean the same thing and seem to have slightly different dates, and it's all a bit confusing. But best thing to do is start out with what's there and experiment with it. But it's not that complicated once you get your head around how it works. So that's the membership statuses, and then you've got price sets. So as part of the membership, there might be a digital magazine, there might be access to a clubhouse, I don't know. There could be all sorts of things that you might be offering during that sign up process. So you can set up price sets to go with that membership. And I think, in fact, now Civi does just create a price set anyway. Well, maybe not. I think it does for events or something, but you can set up complex kind of joining pricing if you wanted to. So there might be an example of that is where you can pay over the membership fee. So if you need to record that separately, so for instance, you're going to gift aid the donation element and then leave the rest. A good way to do that is to use a price set, or to use an additional donation in the contribution page to allow you to capture and differentiate the additional payment as opposed to the membership fee, because then you can do things with that money. You can identify it. You can see, all right, how many people are giving us more than the actual membership fee that we are supposed to charge. what do we want to do about that? You know, it seems like quite a lot of people are giving more, etc. So you can make decisions based on it then. So price sets are there. What else do we have? Type statuses, price sets. Let's have a look at that. So I don't have any renewal pages, so there's nothing in here. So this is basically saying if someone got a renewal reminder and they clicked on it, what is the default page they'd get taken to if there wasn't a specific one set up for them. So the important thing there is once you've set up membership, the whole you can automate all of the process around reminding them around. So for my standard membership, I want to send a renewal reminder 1 month before the end date. Yeah, and I can repeat it, so I might send it one every week until 1 week before the end date. Yeah, so that might make a bit more sense if I went 6 weeks before, and I'm going to remind them every week until they reach their end date. So that's like a, you know, I can have more in there. I can have checksums to the renewal page so that they can go in and just do the renewal without needing to contact me to get in touch with me, etc., etc. And so I can set that up, and then I might set another one up that says that kicks in after the end date to say, well, your membership's now lapsed. Did you know you've lost out on X, Y, and Z benefits, or you're still we're still expecting a payment, we haven't received it yet. So I can set up multiple reminders working from different points in their life cycle. So this one's before the end date. I might have one after and up until 8 weeks. So, you know, my limbo state. And then I might have one that that starts after that 8 weeks and just says, we're sorry to see you go. And then maybe, is it okay to send you the old email and send them a communication preferences update, because you don't want to lose touch with that person, etc. You know, so I keep saying etc. But there's a lot there that you can configure, and all of that is around schedule reminders. And then there's Civi rules, obviously, that allow you to do things that are more workflow oriented. For instance, moving people around in groups, setting flags and tags and doing things with them as they update or as they renew, or, you know, there's all kinds of things I can do using Civi rules. But I mean, the point of today is just to get you thinking about how you could use membership. So within the membership side of things, I've got this membership dashboard. So right now there's nothing in there really, but it's given me an idea of what my churn is in terms of how many new members, how many renewals, and who they all are and when they join. So this is quite useful if I'm just trying to see a snapshot of where my organization is. There's membership reports as well, so you can have a look at them. We'll just run one just to see. So membership details report, and that's just showing me who they are, and I can obviously add more columns to that. So I don't know, let's go for the net fee. Yeah, so here I can see straight away that my dog didn't pay anything. It was just me. There was no fee, etc. So, and I can have these emailed automatically if I wanted to. So I might just email a list of new joiners in that month to so-and-so people. So I can see that. What else have we got in the memberships? Batch data entry. So to be honest, we don't have many people using this, but there is the ability to create batches of members. So this is using the kind of traditional batch entry of large amounts of data and audit checks of, is my batch amount what I entered into the system, does it all add up, is it all looking good? And that's just giving me a quick way to create contacts, assign them a membership, put the amount they paid, when they paid, and then validate and save and process the batch, and that will create their memberships against each one of them, record the contribution, send them anything that you want to send them. So if I decide to send a receipt to all of them, it will just do everything. So it could be useful if you've got volunteers coming to help process stacks of application forms or process emails that have come in requesting memberships and things like that. So then it's quite useful. But it's a bit of a lost art, if you like. And these profiles can be changed, so you can control what is asked for. If there's more custom fields that you want, like for instance, source here is free text, you might change that and say, well, we've got radio buttons for ours, and you could have an extra field there to do some of that stuff. So there's that. Then what else is there? Then import, obviously. So I might my final kind of option, and this is if I've got memberships already outside of Civi that I'm thinking, okay, I've got this thing that I run in a spreadsheet or in a different way, and I want to start using Civi to do it. How can I get my 2,000 subscribers into Civi? So you can do that using the import here, and I don't have any data actually. There's no point in me trying to do that. But the import process is very similar to how you would import other things into Civi, so you can do a mapping, etc., etc. And again, if anybody wants to see that in more detail, just shout out, and we'll do a session on how to import as well. I think that is it, to be honest. Like I say, I was trying to keep it as a kind of high level. What is the memberships? There's just some extensions out there that can help. There's one by CompuCorp for subscription management, which is useful if you're like a traditional trade union stroke membership organization. You've got annual memberships, but people paying at different rates at different times. They're doing it in effect. You've almost got the statement of account, and you're trying to manage it. There is that module out there, and that is that way of doing things. We tend to steer away from that traditional way of doing stuff and try to keep it a bit more like something that you could present out easily, and it's easier to manage. So there's less adjustments, less kind of forward and reverse transactional impacts. There's also I mean, all of this membership stuff integrates with Drupal web form. If you're using Drupal web form, Caldera stroke Gravity, this whole thing about Caldera potentially having a bit of a hard time at the moment, but all of the membership functions will work with your CMS as well. So if you wanted people to join in, and if they're a member, then they get additional content, discounts to events, etc., then all of that will work with Drupal and WordPress, Civi, WordPress or Drupal. It will work with all of those, and the Civi discount module also works with membership. So you can say, well, if the person's a member, they give them a 10% discount on event subscription, or like I say, do whatever you want to do with them. So all of those features are kind of integrated, and that's where some of the power of this is. That initially it might seem like it's not the right fit for you because you're not classing what you're doing as membership, but if you are offering benefits and you're trying to get into more subscriptions, so you're a bit more comfortable about your regular income, then it's a good option. And using the word replacements can mean that you can quite quickly change that terminology. So let me just try. I haven't done word replacements in about 20 years, I don't think. So let's have a go and let's see what happens. So customize data and screens, word replacements. Let's try this. So I'm going to change it to subscription. It's not exact match, so I'm going to say anywhere where that word is. Let's change it. Oh, look at that, amazing. So that's changed now to subscription everywhere. And if I go into let's go into my contact. It's really difficult when you don't have any data. You're always going into search, but you're not going to get anyone. So there's my record now, and now it's no longer called membership, it's a subscription. And if I go into it, active subscription. So you can see the word replacement is quite powerful, and add subscription instead of add membership. So that way I can control it and use it for whatever I want. Obviously I can't use it for subscription and management and membership and name them two separately. I can't really do that. So it's one or the other. So I can call it what I want, but I can't call it multiple things in different scenarios, not easily. I mean, I could with a bit of with a bit of work, but not without development. So that is it. I can see there's no more questions. I see Graham said that's useful. No problem, Graham. Thanks for engaging in ideas. Graham's always on and posting stuff, so that's always useful. So I think that's it. My dog has collapsed by the looks of it. He's had a tough birthday, and I'm sure getting to 1 year old is a major feat in dog world, especially in this COVID time. So he's a COVID pop. I think we'll leave it there. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be having another CiviCRM TV session. Keep an eye out. We might be changing the domain. We're not 100% sure yet. Do keep an eye out for that. And otherwise,